She was very encouraging, very inspiring, and she actually motivated me. I appreciate the fact that she was so authentic and very personable, and it really made me feel like I relate to her story. What I aspire to be? Just the best version of myself.
You are listening to Unleash the Podcast, revolutionizing the way women grow, work, live, and lead. Engaging interviews, insightful book reviews, and timeless gems to aid the modern woman in excelling personally and professionally. Hosted by the multi-passionate Tabitha D. James, Unleash the Podcast not only empowers listeners, but also equips them with applicable action-based resources for daily life. Hey friends, it's that time of the week, another Unleashed replay, and this time I have one of my almost lifelong friends, buddies, pals, sister girls, Jessica Green, better known as Jessica Janae in the online place. I am super excited for you to hear about her Release Woman platform, to hear about her books, to hear about her journey, to hear her passion, to hear how she has allowed God to use her and her story to build a platform for women to grow, for women to feel, for women to simply belong. What an amazing thing to have such a time as this, right? As we think about how we've been journeying through these Rona days, and I say that in quotation marks, we have needed space. All of us, no matter if we're single or married or divorced or mommies or not mommies or young or older, in between, we have all been in some sort of battle during these times. And I'm just so excited that Jessica has intentionally curated a space for her audience. She does a lot of work for single young women. She does some work for brown girls and some work in the educational space. She's going to share all the magic and all the gems, and I'm just excited to be a catalyst to get you to it. Jessica and I have been buddies, old pals since way back in elementary school days, and thanks to social media, we have been able to stay connected through the years and to help each other grow, to lean on each other, and to love on each other. And that is what life is all about, my friends. That is what this collaborative is about. So be sure to find the Unleash Collaborative on Instagram and Facebook. Visit the links in the description to grab your seat for the virtual experience, which is coming up if you're listening to this in real time. Enjoy this replay, and I look forward to being in your earbuds again soon. Until next time,
so Jessica, tell us just a little bit about you, whatever that means to you, whatever you want us to know. Just give us the deets, okay? And you look good today,
Thank
girl.
you, sis. You know, I feel like I'm practicing for when I become a housewife on Andy Cohen's, Bravo TV. So,
yes.
I try to, dress the part. I try to dress the part, honey. That's it. But I'm Jessica Janae Green. Most people call me Jessica Janae. I'm originally from Florence, South Carolina, but I currently reside in Columbia, where I am a 5th grade teacher, which is still strange to say because I've always taught 4th grade, and this is my first year teaching 5th grade. So I'm still trying to get used to saying I'm a 5th grade teacher. So I'm an educator, an author, a publisher, a podcaster, a women's advocate. Like, I love pouring into women and helping women with their self-esteem, self-love, and just walking in purpose. So that's really a little bit about me. When I'm not doing those things, you can catch me at brunch or binge watching Housewives. That's really it.
Yes, brunch. Do you miss brunch? Like, do you really miss it?
Yes and no. So I miss brunch, like being able to just hop in, like go with my friends. I guess I could say I miss lit brunches, but I have been one of those people that has still been attending brunch, like slowly but surely, of course, safely. Like I went to brunch yesterday morning, but I miss like bigger crowds of brunch. I feel like now brunch has restrictions that I'm not really enjoying, but I love a nice brunch, honey. I love it.
Okay, yes, brunch. Okay, so let's dive into that, like encouraging, empowering women type piece. So how did you get to Released Women? Were there things you did prior to that? What is that? All the deets there. What's up? What's it?
Okay. So Released Women is a community that I have on Instagram that is constantly growing. So I'm really grateful about that. And I also have the Released Women podcast. Now, Release Women podcast started off as the Dear Sister podcast. And actually last month may mark 2 years that I've been podcasting. And the Dear Sister podcast originally started because I wanted women to understand that they were not the only people that were going through what they were going through. A lot of times when we go through things, the enemy will plant a lie in our mind that we're the only one experiencing it. So that keeps us from talking about it, that keeps us from seeking help about it, because the enemy makes us believe that we're the only ones experiencing it. But the Bible tells us that other brothers and sisters in Christ are experiencing the same type of trials that we are. And so I created the Dear Sister podcast because I just wanted to remind women that you're not by yourselves and that we all experience the same thing. It may not look the same, it may not occur at the same time, but there is somebody else out there who has experienced what you experienced. So I try to offer that transparency and just that rawness, and use my testimonies and even some of the trials. Because a lot of time I would record shows while I was still walking through that season. But God always graces me to pour into people, even when I'm going through it myself. And so Dear Sister then transitioned into the Release Women podcast because I want to say maybe November, God told me to create this community. And at first it was called I Am That Woman. Okay. Now, I Am That Woman was originally what it was going to be called. However, I got hit with this name is trademark and you need to change it before XYZ happens. So I was like, you know what? It's not that serious. If God gave me one vision, I know that he's already provided another way. So I went to God and he was like, what you're going to be doing is releasing women from bondage, releasing women from their past, and just helping women release from the things that the enemy tries to use to hold them back. And so that's how Release Women came to be born. And I was like, well, let me change Dear Sister podcast into Release Women podcast. So here we are, Release Women. I'm grateful for it, and it's growing. So
that is awesome. So, y'all already know a few things I pulled out from there is don't be afraid to pivot. Once again, if God gives you one thing, he's going to give you more, right? He's going to give you more. And then listening to him, because I'm sure you could have been like, well, God, I like Dear Sister. I don't really want
right.
I don't really want to change it. So obedience, right? That was another thing I heard. Another thing I heard was, using your story to empower others, right? Because as Bria just said in the comments, like we're not alone, right? We're not alone. If we can share, I'm sure there's other people who can be like, yes, me too, sis.
Yes.
Me too. When I think of things like the Me Too movement, I'm sure it took the power of one person to speak out for many to speak out.
Right. So. Right. And another thing, another reason why I share my story is because I always tell people, like, I never want to give someone the power to tell my story for me. So I use my past, I tell it myself. So that if somebody be like, oh, well, Jessica, she used to get drunk every weekend and be turned up in the club. Like, yeah, they already know that because I told them that on episode 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never want anybody to be able to use my past against me. And so I tell my own story. And I think more women should do that. Like, tell your own story. Don't give someone the power to tell your story for you. So that's another reason why I strive to be transparent. Like, I don't tell all of my business, but I'm as transparent as God tells me to be, if that makes sense.
That's good. Because, people they can go off on the plug saying, who is she to be inspiring, but she used to do so and so. I already told them that. Okay.
Exactly. And that's what the enemy used to do. It was more so, well, first of all, I do remember this incident where this was like when I first graduated college. I was in like a group chat, like, who Jessica think she is? And, of course, somebody sent me the screenshot or whatever. But the enemy used to tell me, like, God can't use you. Like, you made too many mistakes. Like, you're not perfect enough. Like, the enemy used to plant those lies in my mind, and I used to believe them. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to just use my past. I always say I use my past to power my purpose. You get what I'm saying? So I took the control from the enemy. And that's what happens when you shed your own light on your own darkness. So
wait, you can't just what you tell me that you can't just breeze
you can't just breeze through that. I really breeze past that.
When you what?
I use my past to power my purpose. And I believe that when you shed light on when you shed your own light on your own darkness, you snatch back your control from the enemy. Because if you hiding everything in the dark, that leaves the enemy room to do what he needs to do. You get what I'm saying? And twist it even more. Because we know he's a liar. He had been a liar. He a liar now. He always gonna be a liar. So that's how I feel about the devil.
That's good there. Wow. So I know the Release Women is online, so it's on Instagram and it's a podcast, but in any form did COVID impact the way that you do what you do, the way you plan? Were there any events that you had in the pipeline that you had to pause on? What impacts did besides being a teacher? I don't even want to go to that pipeline, but I know it broke your heart as an educator, but on the other side of your life, did it have any impacts?
Honestly, COVID has been a blessing to me, honestly, because it gave me time to get clear. Like I shared with you the other day, God really revealed to me what my purpose looked like. First of all, I haven't had a dream like that vivid in a very long time, but back on the last day of, I can't remember if it was the last day of April. No, I think it was the very last day of May. Like I had a vivid dream where God basically told me, like, you are the Harriet Tubman for women who are bound up in whatever they're bound up in. And so I feel like I would have never really had that dream if I was still like teaching and going visit friends every other weekend and just out and about all the time. So I feel like COVID has impacted me in a positive way, in a sense where it gave me clarity on what purpose looked like. And it made me want to go harder because I enjoy being at home. Like I truly believe that one day God gonna be like, okay, just work from home. And so I feel like in this season, I've been trying to show up like I am where I want to be. So I've been trying to show up like I'm already speaking to millions of women. Like when I make my posts or when I go live, like even though it may be 12 women, I'm acting like it's 12 million women or 12,000 women. You get what I'm saying? Like being consistent with creating my content for my page, just showing God that you can trust me right now. Although COVID was not in my plan, I want to show you that I'm going to use this time wisely. A lot of time people want things, but when God shows you or gives you room to show him what you can do with what he's giving you, like we don't use it wisely. So COVID has impacted me in that way, that it's giving me clarity. It's giving me time to really dig deeper, not only in purpose, but dig deeper in God. I didn't really have any events planned. I was supposed to be a part of an event that got canceled, but for me personally, I didn't have like anything planned per se. So yeah.
Well, that's good that it impacted you in a positive way to download clarity and bring gifts and fruit and thought and dreams that answer questions. I would assume. So what are some ways that people can, support you, buy from you, work with you, think of you? What are like the Release Women products or the Jessica Janae products? Like what's hot right now? What you got going on?
So what's hot is I have 2 books. So my first book that I announced last week is called Devotions for the Soul, Singles Edition. So last year, around this time, I announced that I was having a devotional, and I released it in October of last year. And so this year, I think like maybe in June, I just had this moment where I was just like tired of singleness. Like I was just feeling the low blows of being single. And what I strive to do is anytime I go through something, I always think like, how can I flip this so that God gets the glory from it? Because if we go through things and we just sit in it, the enemy laughs at us. And so I strive to, no matter what I go through, I always try to say, how can I flip this so it works for my good and God gets the glory from it? So I sat down for a week and I created this devotional with different devotions from my heart that would just come to mind whenever I was feeling, some type of way or whatever. And affirmations are in the book, or you create your own affirmations. And what's my favorite part of the book is how I feel versus what I know. So a lot of times people, especially women, I feel like because we've been hurt before, we try to ignore our feelings, or we try to ignore the emotions that we're feeling. And I'm so against that. Like, I have to tell my friends that all the time, like, God did not create us not to have feelings or emotions. What you shouldn't do, though, is allow your emotions to control you. So identify how you feel, because when you sweep them under the rug, that allows the enemy room to just play and just twist them. But if you can identify, like, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel lonely right now? Why do I feel like God has forgotten about me? Or why do I feel how I feel? But then on the other side, what do I know? I know that God said that he will never leave me nor forsake me. And it's written that he will never leave me nor forsake me. And his word cannot come back to him void. And so what I feel versus what I know, and basically just pages for you to write. Journaling is so therapeutic. So I'm really excited about my singles devotion. But then I announced my other baby this week. Actually, like yesterday or day before this. No, maybe Sunday. It's called it's called the Heart of God for her. And it's a 45-day devotional, and it's been written by myself and 14 other women that are all across the country. And basically it consists of the women of the Bible, and it shows us how God loves us and how deep his love for us is. And the women, of course, of the Bible come from different backgrounds, different economic statuses. And what I really loved about this project was I was like one of the last people that came on, because my mentor was originally asked. And that's why it's important to be connected to the right people. Not even connected to the right people, but how can I say this? That's why it's important to just be obedient to God. Like, say what he tells you to say, do what he tells you to do when he tells you to do it. Because my mentor reached out to me and was like, Jess, I have too much on my plate right now, and I really think that you would be a better choice for this. And so when I got on, all the women of the Bible that I wanted were gone. My two favorite women in the Bible are the woman at the well and Queen Vashti. Like, I can sit and talk about them all day. Like, I would go to bed for them because those are my girls. But they were gone. And so this project stretched me and made me look at women that I really wasn't familiar with, or who don't even really have a name, and they may not even have more than a few sentences or a few verses about them. But God he stretched me with this. And so I'm really excited. And I know it's going to bless people. It's already, it was number one on Monday, yesterday, as an Amazon new release for Kindles. So I'm really excited about that. So yeah, those are right now. That's what those are my babies right now. I'm working on some other stuff, and Tabitha knows, but that'll come in the near future.
Like falling. My chair just likes to fall in the middle of the chat, but right. But yes to that stretching, right? Allowing yourself to be stretched, because you like, wait a minute, all my people gone.
I was like, so God, I really have to dig deep to write this now. Because if you ask me to write something about the woman at the well, honey, I can have that done in like 10 minutes. If you ask me to write about Queen Vashti, even though her story is not that long in the book of Esther, like, I can write something in 10 minutes, because those are the women that I relate to. So it was definitely a good stretch. I'm grateful to be a part of that. So, and the book has been selling like pretty good, like paperback wise. So make sure y'all get y'all copy, because it's gonna bless women.
Don't miss out, y'all. I dropped the link tree in the comment section, so y'all don't miss out to get the devotionals for singles, and chime into the Release Women podcast. Okay,
yes, please do.
Get into that community, because the way it is blessing women. First of all, Jessica didn't talk about it, but I will. Those IGTVs, she gets into the camera like this, and she be talking to you like, you have no other choice but to like tune in, right? And chime in and listen. Or even when she like sits back, like she about to slay.
Thank you, girl.
You be like, because God told me to tell y'all.
Listen, sometimes I be getting worked up, honey. And I still have a sprinkle of ratchetness in me. And so sometimes that likes to come out when I'm talking about what God told me to tell the people. So sometimes I may talk with my hands, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I may lean, I may even give an eye roll or something.
You know you in it. That's how you know you in it, when you get into your element and you're comfortable. Okay. All right.
And you know what? It took me a long time to get to that place where I'm okay with letting my personality shine through what God is doing through me, because I'll never forget when I first started out, like in my earlier 20s, or in my early 20s, excuse me, I'll try to be like everybody else that was doing the same thing I was doing, like no shade to nobody, but the women that wear skirts to their ankles, or the women who don't really have a past and they dot every I, or they try to appear that they dot every I and cross every T. And so I try to, do that, keep my hands in my lap when I was talking. And this one girl who I looked up to, she told me, she said, Jessica, first of all, let me say this, because a lot of people have the misconception that you have to be perfect to be used by God, right? And so at that time, that's what I thought. And then somebody that I really looked up to had the audacity, which now I know what she meant, but I have a point. So let me tell the story. So she called me, and I'll never forget, she calls me. I'm sitting on my parents' couch because I still live at home. And at this time, I'm in my early 20s. So I'm still going out, getting turned up, but I also know that God is pulling me to do something. I just don't know what it looks like yet. But I was still trying to pour into people, but I was still getting turned up and nothing if you bucking and all that good stuff. And she called me and she said, Jessica, nobody's ever going to take you serious. But nobody's ever going to take you serious because basically like how you dress, and you're just nobody's ever going to take you serious. And when I tell you, like, that really hurt me, because I really looked up to this particular person. And it's so crazy that this same person is the person that's congratulating me now. But I say all that to say this, like, you don't have to be perfect, but two, when younger girls reach out to me, and I have this one baby now, but when they reach out to me, I always tell them, like, I'm not gonna support your can I say sinful nature? Like, I'm not gonna support that, but I'm gonna love you where you are, because I never want you to think that you have to be perfect to do what God has called you to do, because there are people attached to your purpose. Like, there are people attached to your promise. And so I always tell my younger babies, I say, I'm not going to support your foolishness, but I'm going to love you, and I'm going to be an example, and I'm going to pray for your heart, because what God does is when you give him your yes, he will begin to change your heart. He don't want you perfect, but he will begin to change your heart so that you don't want to get turned up every weekend. You don't want to smoke weed every weekend. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be with this man and that man, or this woman and that woman. Like, he won't do that. So he'll change your heart as you begin to walk with him. And so that is my goal. So anybody that's watching, like, you don't have to be perfect for God to use you. So I said all that to say that I'm glad that I'm at a place now where I feel comfortable enough to be exactly who I am. And if I seem a little ratchet sometimes, that's okay. You getting this word though. And the enemy gonna lose. You know what I'm saying? Like Cardi B said, I twisted what she said, but I'm dog walking the devil. That's what I do. That's what I try to do, dog walk him. And so that means that I have to be myself and let God use this to do that, then that's what I'm gonna do.
Woo. Well, that's that on that.
That's that on that, honey.
Not really sure how to go at, like, for real, being you, being all of you, and bring all of you to the table. And so that's, we heard so many things that do not have to be reiterated, but major key of be you and allow you to be you're the magic, right? Like, there are other communities, there are other people pouring into women, there are other things. Who you are is the magic behind your community.
Yeah.
right? Your business, your brand, whoever is listening and chiming in. So yes, there are parts of us that we do have to polish and we have to change and we have to up level. But that doesn't mean we have to become a whole duplicate of another person.
Oh, exactly.
Just because we like them, right? Or we admire them. We don't need, wow, I just talked about this last night on my live. Like, don't idolize humans.
Don't. Listen. And I tell women that all the time, like, women who follow me, like, get it for yourself. Like, God just uses me as a vessel. I am not God. I am not perfect, honey. Get it for yourself. Go get it for yourself. Take what I give you, spit out the bone, eat the meat. But you still gotta go to God for yourself. Cause when you go see him, he's not gonna be like, what you did. Oh, I just listened to Jessica's IGTV videos and spent 5 minutes in the Bible plan and that was it. No. Go over there. Go time out.
Go sit down.
Go sit down. Next. Like, no.
Yeah, it's not it. Okay, so lastly, we are going to get in the tab time machine and we're going to go back 6 months. And if you could tell the Jessica of 6 months ago, which was February, anything, right? If you could just tell her anything besides, whispering in her ear that Ronald was coming, what would you tell her?
If I could tell Jessica in February something, it would be that God sees you. God sees you, he hears your prayers, because a lot of times we feel like because we don't see things naturally that God is not moving. But just because you don't see it naturally doesn't mean that God doesn't see you, that he's constantly watching you, that he's constantly listening to your prayers, and that it's coming, that what you've been praying for is coming. It may not come when you want it or how you want it, but it's coming. And just to keep doing the work, because God sees you. I feel like I know for myself, like I said, a lot of times when I don't see God moving naturally, I feel like he's taking his eyes off me. Like he's putting me down in the corner and was like, okay, let me go handle my other kids. I'll come back. But that's not how God works. And just want to remind somebody that God sees you. Like he sees you. And just because you can't see it doesn't mean that God does not see you. So.
Wow.
Yeah. I may have to make that into a video myself.
Yeah, you will have to use that one. That was good.
I think I have to. Yes.
Yes, that was good. Well, once again, tell people how to connect with you online, and we will be wrapping up today's lunchtime chat. Thank you so much for being here. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you. So on Instagram, you can follow me. I have 2 pages. My personal page is Jessica Janae. So JESSJESSICA Janae JENA. And my second page is Released Women, which is RELEASEDWOMEN, Released Women. And I would say my Twitter name, but I cannot remember my Twitter name. So. Sorry, I had to delete my old Twitter because it was too much of old Jessica. Like I was following all the wrong people, and my tweets back then were a little reckless. I was like, you know what? Let me just start over. Sometimes you gotta cut ties. No, most of the time you have to cut ties with your past. So although my followers were up on my older page, it's okay to start over at the bottom. So I'm still trying to remember what my Twitter name is. So
I just put it in the comments, y'all, but it's
thank you.
It's the Jessica Janae.
Thank you. I'll be practicing that because I definitely forgot.
Okay, girl, I got you.
Thank you, sis. Thank you. And I also want to say thank you so much, Tabitha. I want to publicly say thank you. Like I was reading, after our conversation Sunday, I've been praying for you, like for real praying for you, and just thanking God for you. And so this morning, as I was like just thanking God, today's morning with God was just a thank you session. Like thank you for this, thank you for that. But God, you just remind me of Elizabeth. And in the book of, is it Luke, I think? I can't remember, where Mary gets pregnant. The angel tells her, like, you haven't Jesus, basically. And she's so shook, like she's so shook because she's like, how am I having Jesus? So she goes to Elizabeth. And I think we all need that person that makes our baby leap, because it says that when they were talking, like the baby and Mary leaped, and Mary was like, why me? Like, why have I been chosen? And Elizabeth was like, God chose you because you trusted in what he told you. Or you believe that he would keep his word, something like that. And so I believe that we need people in our corner who, one, will make our baby leap, but two, will see something in you that you don't see. But even if they see the same thing, they understand the higher level of it. You get what I'm saying? So I just want to thank you for being my Elizabeth. And I just appreciate you.
I cannot with you right now.
Yes. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you too, sis. The feeling is definitely mutual.
Thank you, darling. Thank you.
Well, you have a great day. I am staying on for a little while because I have an announcement for the people. So you have,
yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, thank y'all so much. Thank you, Tab. I love you. And of course I'll be texting you sometime today. So
of course. All right. Have a good day, boo.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.
All right. Hello, everyone. Did you all enjoy Jessica? Let me know in the comments some of your key takeaways that you may have gotten from the session. Let me know, what you thought. And yes, I just turned the camera. But I am super excited to be coming on just for a little after chat. So initially we weren't going to do any more guests after July, but I was like, I had to be obedient, right, to what God was telling me, to just handpick and select some folks to come on and share. And Jessica was one of those people. We also have some ladies coming up that filled out the form prior to it closing, and they'll be coming in the weeks to come. But I'm staying on for a very special, just like Unleash update announcement thing. When COVID came, I was like, okay, this is the perfect time for me to cancel the conference, because I was a little uneasy about whether, to have it in 2020 or not anyways. And I felt like COVID came and it was just like, shoot, nope, you ain't got to do it. But what I realized in me being obedient is I just had the wrong people attached to the vision. It wasn't that the vision was bad, right? So I want to, shameless plug, tell you to make sure that you have the right people connected to your vision so that you don't lose sight of what is really supposed to be going on, right? Don't, and if you feel like the wrong people are attached, go ahead and break those attachments on demand, right? On demand. So I won't stay on here long because it's Tuesday. Y'all know I work with clients all day on Tuesday, so your girl got to get off here. But I wanted to let you know that the Unleash Next Level virtual experience, like it's not a conference, it's not an event, it is an insightful and engaging virtual experience, is going to go down, my friends, on November 21st. So the weekend of November 20th through 22nd, there'll be some optional events for you on Friday and Saturday. But that main event, on Friday and Sunday, that main event on Saturday, listen, you don't want to miss out, especially if you are a business owner or developing your personal brand or working in an executive role in an organization. You want to up level. You want to remove motivation and interject action, right? You want to remove motivation and interject action. This isn't the event to come and get you fired up to do nothing. This is the event to get you the tools, the tips, and the tactics to then go apply and add action, right? Add action. You need to learn and do. I'm all for reading books. I'm all for master classes. I'm all for investing in yourself. I've invested thousands of dollars, thousands of miles, thousands of time into myself and my business over the years. But what has stayed true and what has worked is utilizing all of that investment to then take action, because it doesn't matter if it's in my head. So I just want to extend the opportunity for you to go and grab a early bird ticket. An early bird as in like landing page is not done, schedule's not posted, but you are trusting that this experience is going to do something for you, right? You can just grab that. $25, it's yours. You will be notified first of all the VIP add-ons, and you're going to want to know about those because they're a steal, right? They are a steal. You're going to get a very special early bird event. So on Saturday, September 12th, I can't talk right now, I'm so excited. I'm going to do a live open Q&A session with everyone who gets an early bird ticket. Everybody, all of y'all. Everybody who gets an early bird ticket, I'm going to do a live event on that Saturday with you. And if you cannot attend, you will be able to get the replay of that. With the virtual experience, you will not be able to get the replay if you can't attend. So be very careful with your schedule if you decide to get a ticket. There is going to be an optional add-on for you to be able to get, you know, the replay, but you won't just automatically get the replay. You're going to need to sit down with your notebook and get these gems live and in effect. There is going to be an awesome lineup. There's going to be a resource guide that goes along with the event that's going to give you tips, tools, and tactics to help up-level your business, okay? I know many of you have thought about and wanted to work kind of one-on-one with me or someone else, and you're like, ooh, I don't really know about that right now. Let this be your stepping stone into something like that. So links in the comments. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message, email, DM, text if you got my number, right? Excuse me, if not, hit me up on Google Voice and I'll respond. But I look forward to seeing some of you there. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, because that early bird price will expire on August the 18th. It will expire. It'll go away. It won't exist. It won't look like that anymore. And that opportunity will be missed. So I look forward to seeing you and some friends and some business besties. Be sure to follow us on Instagram so that you can stay tuned to all of the new updates that we're going to have. And until next week, catch you.
She was very encouraging, very inspiring, and she actually motivated me.